Okay, so I'm going to close with something. So, you know, there are elements in my character that are optimistic. You know, I've looked, for example, I worked for a UN committee and on the relationship between economic development and sustainability, and I found out a variety of things that were very optimistic, like the fact that, you know, the UN set out to have poverty between 2000 and 2015 worldwide and actually hit that by about 2010, right? So we're in the period of the fastest transformation of the bottom strata of the world's population into something approximating middle class that's ever occurred. And there's all these great technological innovations on the horizon, and it looks to me like things could go extraordinarily well if we were careful, but I'm not optimistic. And maybe that's me, I'm pessimistic, because I also see that there's 5 or 6 things happening, all of which appear at the level of catastrophe that are all happening at the same time. And so one of the things that I'd like to ask you is, like, what do you see happening in the next 10 years in the universities or in culture at large? And I mean, you just put forward a proposal for the universities for the treatment of women, which I think is a very interesting one, because women do have a different time frame than men. But like, what the hell is the proper way forward? I've been encouraging young men to tell the truth and to take responsibility, and there's a huge market for that message, but I'm not convinced by any stretch of the imagination that it's enough. Like, when you look forward and you try to be optimistic, what the hell do you see?
Well, in the largest scale, I'm concerned about the future of Western culture, because as a student of history, it looks too much to me like ancient Rome, okay, which became overexpanded, which became, it was at the mercy of bureaucratic creep, okay.
I can imagine one of them.
Yes, right. And Roman identity eventually got blurred, okay, in its incorporation of so many different cultures, which at first seemed like a healthy kind of multiculturalism, but eventually it overexpanded and simply collapsed of its own weight. So I am concerned about whether Western culture is in a rapid decline. I think it would be very easy, because we are so interconnected and so overcomplex, very easy to bring it to ruin. It would only take one major natural disaster to do that. But the universities themselves, I mean, I think people are all of a sudden in the United States much more attentive to issues of political correctness because of the riots at Berkeley, which was the capital of free speech. I mean, the free speech movement happened in the spring before I entered college in 1964. It's one of the great principles and inspirational stories of my entire life. Mario Savio's assertion of the supremacy of free thought and free speech. So I think that perhaps we might just have turned a corner, but it's going to take a very, very long time for the university to be reformed. I feel that the cafeteria menu of the university curriculum has to be abandoned. That we must return to historical courses that begin in the earliest period, the Stone Age and Antiquity, in order to give perspective to our present analysis of our present culture. I want 50 to 75% of college administrators fired, and the money be transferred over, to faculty, into libraries, into instruction, I think that obviously the way things are people are being trained right now, including at the public school level, is I think the public school level has gone to hell. When my mother came to the United States at the age of 6, the old public school system was still very strict. And therefore, she had excellent education, got all A's in her, even though she started out not speaking English, spoke without an accent, etc. So today, this kind of feel-good public school education, which is a form of ideology and indoctrination right now. It's all about no bullying, and so on, and not about anything.
And
substantive.
not even seriously about no bullying.
Yes. And so I can tell in my own students. I've been teaching for 46 years. So I can tell the slow degradation of public school education, to the point now that the students have absolutely no sense of world geography, of world history. They know absolutely nothing. They don't know anything about wars. And the reality, the barbaric reality of most of human history. And what a
That's triggering.
Yeah, right. What a fantastic culture we live in, and so on. Now, identity politics itself has just got to stop. I mean, it was important once. Okay, I was a rebel against the WASP, hegemony. Okay, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant hegemony in American culture. It was suffocating. I was raised in the 1950s, right, when WASPs controlled corporations and education and politics and so on. And so identity politics was necessary once. Okay, we asserted gay rights. Okay, with the Stonewall Rebellion of 1969, we asserted the women's rights with the rebirth of second wave feminism in the late 1960s. Okay, but this endless preoccupation with a fragmented identity. We must return to the authentic 1960s vision, which is about identity coming from consciousness, which transcends gender, which transcends all these divisions of race, and ethnicity, consciousness itself, right? There's no sense of that any longer. That's what the 1960s